Good evening, and welcome to Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular daily schedule. I'm your host, Cresta Reynolds, and I'm once again joined by the esteemed duo of Ryan Haletta and Nadiri Morgan-Thompson. Let's get right into topic one. Alex Ovechkin is atop the history books after scoring goal number 895 against the Islanders. Ryan, how far does he separate himself this year, and what are your initial reactions of the record being broken?
I really think he can reach 900. I think it's definitely a possibility if he plays out his contract because he has one more year. I think it was really just overall cool to see Gretzky there and congratulate him. Yeah. Records are meant to be broken, and Gretzky handled it like a professional. He looked proud of him, and for being an away game, that arena was rocking.
Yeah.
And then they were chanting Ovi, and from there to stop the game and recognize the moment. That's just great to see in sports.
It's definitely what you love to see. You know, I will say with him passing Wayne Gretzky all the time with goals, I think it gives us an obvious question, right?
Okay.
It's Alex Ovechkin. Is he the new hockey GOAT? What do we think?
I don't think so, just because he doesn't have as many assists.
I would agree.
I would agree. I also said I had Wayne Gretzky still. But if you get to 900 goals, that's still a phenomenal feat.
Oh, yeah.
But being on top of scoring does not necessarily make you the GOAT. Like Kareem was top of scoring for a while. He was never the GOAT over MJ, and he's not over LeBron either. But LeBron passed him, so.
Well, Gretzky handled it way better than Kareem did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
But, it's okay.
I think for me, it was like the perfect Ovechkin goal. It wasn't like a tip-in, it wasn't a redirect. It was a power play goal, good shot, and then just for him to belly flop on the ice and just slide, I think that was perfect. Something for me is he's scored 5 goals in his last 4 games, and he's had 17 shots, and he has not had a penalty minute since March 3rd. So, he's available, and he showed why he is one of the best goal scorers, obviously, and I just think he can probably get to 900 this season. He has one more year on his contract, like you were saying, but I think it'll be interesting to see how far he can really get and if this record will ever be touched.
At 39, he's still playing top of his game.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. Like you said, I'm happy he got it on a power shot and not a tip-in. Because tip-ins are cool, but if you're breaking the record, you got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Like when LeBron hit that fadeaway, similar thing.
Right. A truly amazing feat for Ovechkin. Speaking of legends, Don Staley and Gino Auriemma battled it out for the national championship this past weekend, with UConn coming out on top, winning their 12th national title. Nadiri, what led to the team's success?
For one, right, calling that a battle, that's a stretch, bro. I ain't gonna lie. South Carolina, they bent over, and UConn, they whooped them. Shout out UConn, though. Paige Buchers, phenomenal tournament. Azzy Fudd, Sarah Strong, they both had phenomenal games. And UConn, I don't want to brag, right? But when I made my wins bracket, I was 90% correct. And the only reason why I wasn't 100 is because I had Iowa State being the Cinderella. Don't pick Cinderellas in the women's bracket. It's fake news. But UConn versus South Carolina, that was my pick, and it was a great game for UConn. South Carolina, I don't know what they were doing there. But Sarah Strong, like I said, 24, 15, oh my God. Azzy Fudd, 25, 5-1. And Paige Buchers, phenomenal tournament all the way. She's been averaging 25, 4-3 for the tourney, shooting 53 from the field, 48% from the 3, and 85% from the free throw line. That's phenomenal.
She dropped 17 in her final college basketball game. She's the #1 WNBA draft prospect for a reason by many. The Dallas Wings have picked #1, the Storm have #2. So does she go #1? I assume so, but she goes to Seattle. That'd be a good spot for her because they're already competing as it is.
I really want to see Arike Ogunbowale.
Yeah.
She's from Milwaukee. She went to the same high school that my mom went to.
Okay.
Her playing with Paige Buchers, I feel like that'd be fire.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a lot of help up there. She's kind of a shot checker. Don't look at her field goal percentage. But they have some potential over there.
I will say, though, UConn, they definitely got the best of South Carolina because we saw that 82-59 final score. But the largest lead was 32 at one point with 3:41 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it was the Strong and Fudd show, like you mentioned. Strong, 24 points. They both had 24, but she was a presence in the paint, 15 boards as a freshman. And Azzy Fudd, she's a senior guard this year. 8 for 11 from mid-range is pretty impressive.
Yeah, 100%. And I think South Carolina, throughout the whole tourney, they showed their cracks, right? They had a close game against Maryland. They had a close game against Duke. And UConn really showed, we're really like that. You guys aren't like that. They snatched their chain.
Yeah, I think for me the third quarter was huge. South Carolina shot 5 of 12 from the arc and only 0 for 4 from 3 and only scored 16 points. So obviously just dominating by UConn. Next up, we will go over the Brewers' recent success. Stay tuned.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
It's always been there, his love of the outdoors. Some days, you wonder if it might be his calling. Truth is, you know that the things he's passionate about today will build the foundation of what he does tomorrow, and possibly inspire a new journey. All he needs now is a way to make it happen. We are the universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities, unlimited opportunity.
Matt checking in to see how Sam is doing on his project, and it's getting close to exporting now, the final step in the process. And it is complete, and Sam is hyped. Finally gets complete and spikes the ball into the end zone. Sam's celebrating with his colleagues, and they throw a flag on the play. The ref's gonna call excessive celebration. Sam is in disbelief and can't believe it. He tries to dispute the call, but the ref is not having any of it.
Welcome back to PO Myospheres. After starting out 0-4, the Brewers have gotten back on track, going 5-1 in their last 6. Ryan, what has changed over the past week for the Brewers to get back to a more respectable record?
Yeah, you already hit on it. They've won 4 in a row after being swept by the Yankees, losing their home opener and against the Royals, and they won the series versus the Royals and the Reds. Besides Saturday, where they gave up 11 runs, the pitching has been absolutely dominant. They've only allowed 6 runs combined in 5 of those 6 games. Even with the Brewers taking injury blow after blow, with Nestor Cortez now hitting the IL shelf. The Brewers have a full rotation on the IL. Nestor Cortez, Brandon Woodruff, Tobias Myers, Aaron Ashby, DL Hall, Aaron Savale. Relievers JB Bukauskas, Thomas Pannone, and Robert Gassers are coming from Tommy John.
Pretty good rotation.
Yeah, it's a real good rotation, and they're not even pitching, all right? Freddie Peralta, he's the only healthy guy, knock on wood, all right, because and they just traded for a guy today, which we'll get to that later, but they're piecing it together with guys like Chad Patrick, who did very well on Sunday, Elvin Rodriguez, who kind of got rocked on Saturday. That was the 11-run game that they gave up. But Tyler Alexander threw an absolute gem, 5 2/3 no-hit innings. The Brewers have only announced Peralta for the Rockies series. We may see Carlos Rodriguez, the youngster, coming up for the Brewers. He's already has been called up. And Jose Quintana is also named to watch. We signed him. The Brewers signed him in spring training, so he's still ramping up in the minors. But he will surely have an impact for this team, pitching for the Brewers, not against them.
And I mean, 100%. The pitching has been phenomenal, right? But I think the Brewers' biggest problem this year is, scoring.
Yeah.
We won a game with 3 runs, with 1 run, with 8 runs. Like, we can't consistently get points on the board, and I think that's becoming a problem because, like you said, in the Yankee series, we started off 0-4. We bent over, we got that belt, you know what I mean, for lack of a better word. And I think that can be like a long-lasting problem for the Brewers as the season goes on. I do hope that we can, like you said, the trade market, we made a trade today, I hope we can make more trades and get people who can score.
I think for me, if you would have told me that Sal Frelick would have been our batting average guy.
He's doing great.
He has. And Yelich is, I think, at 110. I mean, he's struggling. Contreras can't seem to hit the ball well, so they have to get the bats going in order to kind of keep this run going. Lots more to cheer about lately for the Brewers. Moving into the NBA. The 3 through 8 seeds are separated by just 2 games in the Western Conference with about 5 games left in the regular season. Nadiri, what are your predictions for the seeding in the West?
Now, first, I want to say this, right? The seeding in the Western Conference is absolutely insane, right? We have all these teams who are many, many, many games over 500. And if they were in the Eastern Conference, these might be finals contenders, if you're being real. But, it comes down to, like you said, my standing predictions, right? And I think for one, right, the 1 through 3, I think that's right, right? The Thunder 1 seed, 100%. The Rockets, they have a nice cushion. And the Lakers, even if they lose a couple of games, they have the tiebreaker against all 5 teams under them, so they kind of have the 3 seed on wraps, right? And I really want to see the Lakers versus the Nuggets in the first round. So I'm going to peg the Nuggets. No, that's a lie. I'm going to peg the Clippers to be the 6th seed, the Battle of LA in the first round. Book it. For the 4-5, right, the Nuggets, the Warriors.
Yep, I have that as well.
You know what I mean? I think that's perfect, right? In 2022, on the way to the championship, the Warriors knocked off the Nuggets. And this team is very similar to that team. But the Nuggets, that year, they didn't have Jamal Murray. This year, they're a lot stronger. But we have playoff Jimmy. You know, it's very interesting to see where that goes. I think the 7th seed, I think that's going to be the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves are going to give the Rockets a run for their money. And the Grizzlies, they're going to bend over. They're going to get that bill. There's a lot of teams getting that bill. I don't know what you want me to say. What you think, Ryan?
I think the Thunder play the Kings in the first round. Thunder whoop them, all right? 4 Warriors against the 5 Nuggets. I think the Warriors take that. The Nuggets have won two of 3 this season, so it's hard to be a team 3 times. But I think the Warriors get the best from there. I also agree with you, Battle of LA, Lakers, Clips, 3-6. I got the Lakers taking that one. Rockets, T-Wolves. I think the Rockets edge out the T-Wolves in that one. I think they take that. And then I went already into the second round and picked the West. I got Thunder over the Warriors, and I got Lakers over the Rockets, and I got the Thunder out of the West. They're my champ.
Well, so you have the oh, never mind, that makes sense. I was confused for that.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the Clippers do fall into the play-in, and I think they quote-unquote win the play-in.
Okay.
But I think all the top 4 seeds probably make it into the second
Yeah.
round. I mean, the West is pretty top-heavy, so we'll kind of see there.
For sure.
Coming up after the break, we will draft players for the top 3 picks in this year's NFL Draft. Stay tuned to PO Mouseherds.
Have you heard of UROC?
We're part of Whitewater and our own thing.
Come on, we'll show you.
I learned how to be a college student here, and now I'm headed off to Madison to study global health, and I know I'm ready.
People like me who aren't a fan of big crowds would really like UROC because it's welcoming and it's laid back.
My advisor helped me figure out my schedule, organize my time, fill out my FAFSA, and figure out what classes I liked and how to turn that into a major. And if I had to do it again, I would choose UROC. You ready to rock?
You belong here.
Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. We're here to compete, to inspire, to grow, and to make history. We are rooted in tradition. For over a century, we have contended as the premier conference within Division III.
I shot the ball!
We are united throughout Wisconsin. All 8 of our full-time member institutions are based in our great state. But although Wisconsin is our home, our impact reverberates across the entire nation, crowning 180 national team championships and counting. Our mission is to shape student athletes who excel academically and athletically, equipped to become leaders in life. We are here to build on our enduring legacy and move boldly forward into the future. We are the WIAC, Excellence in Action.
I'm Chase Keller, and this is The Insider on UWW-TV. The UW Whitewater Gymnastics team recently competed in the National Collegiate Gymnastics Association Championships, where the team placed second in the nation, only behind UW La Crosse. The team's runner-up finish brought them the second highest team total in program history. Following the competition, an accolade helped cure any sour thoughts on finishing right behind the national champion. Head coach Jennifer Regan was named the NCGA Coach of the Year. This season, she helped the Warhawks to a 6-1 record, the only loss coming to La Crosse by .1. Additionally, her squad registered the now 6th highest team total in program history while battle testing the team against Division I schools Western Michigan University and Northern Illinois University. The Coach of the Year honor is her 3rd time winning the award as the Warhawks head coach. She was also named NCGA West Region Coach of the Year for the 4th time in her illustrious 23-year career. Additionally, assistant coaches Chloe Edrin and Acacia Fossum were named the NCGA West Region Assistant Coaches of the Year. Whitewater assistant coaches have now received this honor 7 times since 2008. Ultimately, the coaching staff leading the gymnastics program is rock solid, and these accolades are a sign of what is to come further down the line. I'm Chase Keller, and this has been The Insider on UWW-TV.
She's always had it. Pure ambition. An unbridled self-confidence that most people only dream of. You see it driving her, empowering her, and in time, you see it fueling her future. Perhaps even helping her blaze a new trail. All she needs now is a way to make it happen. We are the Universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities. Unlimited opportunity.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
Welcome back to the show. The NFL draft will occur here in about 3 weeks, and with many questions and great talent up for grabs, we're going to predict the players drafted for the Titans, Browns, and Giants. Ryan, let's start with your prediction at pick 3 for the Giants.
Yeah, I think the Giants, if the board goes their way, they can take Travis Hunter. Do not draft a quarterback. I'm telling you right now, Joe Shane, if you're listening, do not draft a quarterback, okay? Please do not draft a quarterback. Also, don't take Abdul Carter. You have Kayvon Thibodeau, and you have Brian Burns. 2 pretty good edge rushers. Burns is obviously better than Thibodeau. They just signed Paulson Adebo this year. They could use a playmaker on both sides of the ball, at corner and receiver, and Travis Hunter can do just that. Play mostly on offense, but if you need him at corner, like maybe in the red zone to be that ball hawk, he can be comfortable doing so. If Hunter isn't there, if he goes to the Browns per se, trade back. I don't really know who would trade up to number 3. Maybe another quarterback needy team if they're going to take Shedeur that high. They didn't pay Russ $10.5 million just to mentor someone, along with Jameis Wilson for 2 years, $8 million, just to mentor someone for just this year. You brought Winston in for 2 years. He can mentor someone next year. So after Russ is the stopgap this year, you have Jameis to mentor, like I said. The Giants cannot mess this up. It'd be awful if they took Jackson or Shedeur in the first round. You can take a quarterback you really wanted to later on, Jalen Milroe day 2, or other quarterbacks like Tyler Shaw, Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, Kyle McCord, day 3, someone to develop in that veteran quarterback room.
And 100%, I will say, right, you had them taking Travis Hunter. Not gonna lie. You might as well just let them trade back. The Browns, booking it right here, they're taking Travis Hunter, right? Travis Hunter was year-round the best player in football. And the Browns are not a very good team, right? You need as much time as you can get. You take the best player available. And Travis Hunter is by far the best player available. If you take away positional value, he's easily the best player available, and he plays 2 positions very well. He was the best wide receiver and the best cornerback in college football. When's the last time somebody's done that? Yeah. He's a generational athlete. You can put him anywhere on the field, and he's going to be effective. I think it'd be dumb for the Browns to let him fall. But it is the Browns, so expect them to take Abdul Carter.
If the Browns do this trade, though, like, if they do get Travis Hunter, I think I see the Giants trade to the Panthers, and they take an edge rusher.
For me, just going quickly, I mean, if the Titans don't select Cam Ward, then I don't know what they see in Will Levis. Yeah. You got to go quarterback there. Lots of great talent at the top of the draft board. Let's move back into the NBA. There are many close award races in the NBA this season, so let's make our own predictions of who's going to win the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Most Improved Player. Nadiri, who's your MVP?
I think MVP this year is obvious because the NBA has showed us in the last few years that there's a criteria for being the NBA, right? The MVP, I mean. Last year, Luka Doncic averaged almost a 34-point triple-double, but why did he not win MVP? The Mavericks were the 5th seed, right? You can't win MVP if you're not on a team that's that good, right? It's the fact. the Thunder are a historically good team, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander give you 33 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, averaging 2 steals and a block, and he's very efficient with it, right? He's obviously by far the MVP. Like, his team is by far the best in the league. The Nuggets could fall into the play-in. Like, there's nothing to talk about here. I think Shai should go far away with MVP, and I think he should be close to unanimous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, for most improved player, has to go to Dyson Daniels. He is the current favorite, and for good reason. He came off the bench for the Pelicans in 22, 23, and 24, those seasons, those 2 years. But in all 72 games he's played this year, he started every single one for the Hawks when he was traded for DeJounte Murray. He averaged 5.8 points per game, 1.5 steals, 4 boards, and just under 3 assists in 23 and 24. And then coming to Atlanta, he's almost tripled his points per game. He's averaging 14.2. He's doubled his steals. He's at 3, 6 boards, 4 assists per game, and just under a block. Almost a 9 point per game increase, and clearly just a huge breakout year for the 8th overall pick in 22.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about the Defensive Player of the Year. It's kind of the snooze award. As of right now, Draymond's the odds-on favorite. I mean, is 1 block and 1.4 steals something to snooze over? No. But at the time of his injury, Wemby had 3.8 blocks and a steal. Now, was he probably going to keep it up? Maybe not, but it is Wemby. So, I mean, you never know. Draymond, I think, is gifted his 2nd Defensive Player of the Year. But
I think gifted is a stretch. I think Draymond earned it, right? Wemby got hurt with about 30 games left, right? And in those 30 games, the Warriors have been 21-6. And Draymond's averaging 2 steals, 1 block, and quarterbacking the best defense in the league. I think he's earned his award.
I can see that. When we come back, we'll present our final thoughts for this week's episode. Stay tuned.
We'd love to show you what it's like to be a Warhawk. Come Don't miss out on your chance to be a Warhawk
at UW-Whitewater.
You belong here!
You can see it. His potential, that is. You see it even when he may not. You see that the things that spark his interest today will in time ignite the things he pursues tomorrow. And ultimately, help him reach new heights. All he needs now is a way to make it happen. We are the Universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities, unlimited opportunity.
UWW-TV has been an important part of the campus and community since 1980.
Not only providing on-air learning opportunities for broadcast journalists and electronic media production students,
but educating and entertaining our audiences with award-winning news, live sports coverage, original programming,
as well as dedicating the mission to developing creative collaborations throughout campus.
For more information, visit our website and like us on Facebook.
Check us out because you gotta see what's on UWW-TV.
Sports fans, we pack stadiums, arenas, and local gyms every day. And every sports fan is uniquely human. Seeing each play with your own eyes, triggering your own emotions. And as humans, we won't agree on every call, but we can act with empathy and consideration. So put yourself in the official shoes. Be more than a fan. Be officially human.
Welcome back to PO Mousetrades. Let's give our final thoughts for this week. Nadiri, anything on your mind?
I mean, I think the obvious thing on everybody's mind, right, we're recording this on a Monday night, is the national championship. For me personally, right, March Madness, for the men's, all my brackets have gone pretty terrible, you know. I predicted Auburn versus Duke in the most recent thing. That was wrong. Earlier than that, I predicted Duke versus Michigan State. That was wrong. I don't want to even talk about what I predicted before that. So,
Wisconsin.
Right, you know, at the moment, it's hard because I think if I pick the team I have in my heart, it's going to be wrong. But I'm still going to go with my heart, and I have Houston winning, right? Houston has shown that they have, like, very great endurance and a very good defense. And even though Walter Clayton Jr. has been on a tear, if there's one team that can stop him, it's them Cougars, right? Yeah. We all love us a Cougar, and I think the Cougars are going to win the national championship.
I have to agree with you, but no, I don't. Florida's going to win this national championship, all right? Alex Condon, Clayton Jr., they're too good of a duo for me. I love Alex Condon up in the paint. He's 6'11" sophomore. He's just insane. But today, the Brewers acquired right-handed pitcher Quinn Priester from the Red Sox for number 7 prospect in the Brewers system, Yofri Rodriguez. He's an outfielder, also a competitive balance, round A pick in 2025, which is basically a first-round pick, and also a player to be named later. To make this room on the 40-man, they then traded Grant Wolfram to the Orioles for outfielder Daz Cameron, who is Mike Cameron's son, former legendary outfielder, along with some cash. Wolfram was originally called up to replace Nestor Cortez, but it will now be Quinn Priester filling that role. I like Quinn Priester. He's 24, former first-round pick by the Pirates in 2019. He's been good in the minors, and we've seen all these Pirates pitchers that have been traded. They just develop, and the Brewers have a pitching lab there. I've been high on him. He goes from Pittsburgh to Boston, now to Milwaukee, and he's 24. I think he has a lot of room. But for Rodriguez, he was not going to play anytime soon in that star-studded outfield that the Brewers have, and that it's just so young. People say it's a haul for Priester, but I think it's a good pay for him.
I mean, I know the Pirates, they definitely have some good pitchers over there. They got Paul Skinny, he dates like Livy Dunn and stuff. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, my final thought just quickly. Happy retirement, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
13 years. Yep, shout out Julio.
Our childhood is expiring.
Yep.
It's true.
That will do it for us here tonight. Thank you for watching episode 5, and this has been Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular day schedule on UWW TV.